The Marshall Mathers LP2 is the eighth studio album by American rapper Eminem, released on November 5, 2013, by Aftermath Entertainment, Shady Records, and Interscope Records. A continuation of Eminem's most acclaimed studio effort, 2000's The Marshall Mathers LP, production for the album took place from 2012 to 2013 and was handled by Eminem and other record producers, including Rick Rubin, Resto, Emile Haynie, and Alex Darkid. The album features guest appearances from singers Skylar Grey, Rihanna, and frontman Nate Ruess, with the only other rapper appearing on the album being Eminem's Aftermath label mate Kendrick Lamar. The album title was revealed during the 2013 MTV Video Music Awards on August 25 with a preview of the lead single Berzerk. The song was released 2 days later, and peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was followed by two singles, Survival, released on October 8, and Rap God, released on October 15, 2013. The former debuted at number 17 on the Hot 100, and the latter at number 7. The Monster, featuring Rihanna, was released as the album's fourth single on October 29, 2013. The album's fifth single, Headlights featuring Nate Ruess, was released on February 5, 2014. The album received generally positive reviews from music critics, with praise going to Eminem's technical rapping skill and production choices. It marked an improvement in reception over some of his more recent albums, and was named on multiple Albums of the Year year-end lists. The album debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and had the second highest album sales of 2013. As of July 13, 2014, the album has sold 2,155,247 copies in United States according to Nielsen SoundScan. Background. On May 24, 2012, Eminem revealed that he had begun working on his next album in an interview on Hot 97's Morning Show with Peter Rosenberg. On June 30, 2012, Eminem talked about the album with DJ Who Kid, on his own radio station, Shade 45. He stated that the material was taking shape, and that Dr. Dre will be involved in some way. Eminem explained, "I usually get going and kind of start going a certain direction and just record what I'm feeling. Then I'll go see Dre and fill in some of those pieces." On August 1, 2012, Nick Craig interviewed Eminem on Channel 95.5, where he explained that he was working on the album, but was focused on finishing Slaughterhouse's Shady Records debut Welcome to Our House. On August 10, however, Eminem appeared on Shade 45 and told Sway Calloway, "We actually just finished the Slaughterhouse album last week. Now I've got time to be able to start doing things for my own project." Royce Star 5'9" appeared on MTV's Rap Fix, hosted by Calloway, with his group Slaughterhouse, on August 30, 2012. And talked about Eminem's album. Royce confessed, "Marshall is the studio right now, laying the most awesome lyrics in the world. I'm not so sure how the world is going to respond from some of the things that I've heard from him." On February 8, 2013, Shady Records president and Eminem's manager Paul Rosenberg told Billboard that Eminem's eighth studio album would be released after Memorial Day, 2013. "We fully expect to be releasing a new Eminem album in 2013. He's been working on it for some time," said Rosenberg. "It's safe to say that it will be post-Memorial Day at some point, but we're not exactly sure when. We've got some dates locked in for him to perform live in Europe in August, so we're trying to see what else lines up." On March 22, 2013, during an interview with Power 106, Dr. Dre said that he was working with Eminem, and that Eminem was finishing up his project. On June 17, 2013, Shady Records producer The Alchemist appeared on Rap Fix Live, and spoke to Calloway about Eminem's upcoming album, That's My Boss. "I DJ for him and I'm not at liberty to speak on much, but you know his caliber and what he does. Clearly going to further territories. I think what you would expect, especially after the last go-round. He was just getting his feet back on Relapse and then Recovery just came with the smash hits and everything, and I think now he's Eminem." Prior to the announcement of the album's name, It was named to multiple most anticipated albums of 2013 lists, including MTV Complex, where it was listed in 6th position, and XXL, where it was listed in 5th. Recording and production. On June 17, 2013, producer S1 told Hip Hop Weekly, "I've been working on Eminem's new album and I'm very excited about that." The tracklist reveal showed Bad Guy as the opening track, and S1 confirmed that he and vocalist Sarah Jaff, one half of S1's duo The Dividends, are featured on the song. He also credited Ozzy M-Phazes and Street Runner as co-producers. M-Phazes himself confirmed this in an October 2013 interview. Tim Riley, vice president of music affairs at Activision Blizzard, explained to Billboard in August 2013 that he was contacted by Eminem's manager Rosenberg in March to partner Eminem with Call of Duty: Ghosts. In June, Riley and members of his team flew to Detroit to meet Eminem and Rosenberg. The team was showcased a handful of songs, while Eminem was shown early concept art and gameplay footage of Ghosts. Survival was picked as the best-fitting song, but the final version differed vastly from the earliest version of the track. Over the next couple of months, Eminem turned in 5 successive versions of the song, each one bigger and more anthemic sounding than the last. The final version was turned in only a day before its reveal on August 14. In a behind-the-scenes video for Berzerk, released in October 2013, Rubin explained that he met Rosenberg a few years back and that they had discussed the possibility of him and Eminem working together. He stated that the idea of throwback song to earlier hip-hop recordings was an idea conceived later in the creative process of the album. He noted that initial sample the song was built around ended up not being used, and that the final product differs greatly from the original. In an October 2013 interview with MTV, DVLP said that the instrumental for Rap God had been in the making 2 years prior to the track's release. While the instrumental had been offered to rappers such as T.I. and Fabulous, the producer didn't feel the record fit their music. He estimated that Shady Records got hold of the instrumental around fall 2012, and DVLP himself did not hear Rap God until Eminem phoned him after its release. The idea of a sequel to the Marshall Mathers LP came about after Eminem recorded a handful of songs in the early stages of the creation of the album that reminded him and his friends, namely Rosenberg, of Eminem's earlier recordings. "The more I listened to it, the more it made sense to call it that," said Eminem. Eminem also wanted to experiment with retro, vintage sounds such as beat breaks and scratches, and he felt that Rubin could help him take that to another level. Singer Rihanna, with whom Eminem previously collaborated, most notably on the hit single Love the Way You Lie from Eminem's previous studio effort, Recovery, was featured on the song The Monster. On September 11, 2013, she hinted at the collaboration on Twitter, "Just left the studio. Recorded a monster hook for one of my favorite artists. And that's all I can give you our Navy shit." Upon the tracklist announcement, Staten Island singer Bea Breakshaw revealed on Twitter that she had co-wrote the Rihanna collaboration featured on the album. Breakshaw recorded The Monster in November 2012 in Harlem's Stadium Red Studio while working on her debut album. The producer of the track, Frequency, auditioned records for Shady Records VP of A&R Riggs Morales, who freaked out upon hearing The Monster, instantly requesting for the verses to be stripped and Pro Tools sessions sent to Eminem. Eminem added his own verses and tweaked the instrumental, while keeping Riggshaw's backing vocals. While leaving, and the song was revealed to be a part of the album with the reveal of the track listing. In an October 2013 interview, Riggshaw's claimed that she said this is an Eminem record, y'all, while standing in the booth after she recorded the chorus, and that she knows, when Eminem heard it, it spoke to him. Rapper and fellow Aftermath Entertainment artist Kendrick Lamar, who toured with Eminem in 2013, was featured on Love Game, while the frontman of the indie pop band Fun was featured on Headlights. Skylar Grey, a frequent Eminem collaborator since Recovery, was featured on the song Asshole. In an October 2013 interview with American songwriter, Love the Way You Lie producer Alex Darkid revealed that he has submitted further beats for Eminem, but said you never know what they're going to use or not going to use. He would later be confirmed as the producer of Asshole, and two of the deluxe edition bonus tracks. Asshole was initially created during a studio session with Alex and Eminem in Detroit in 2012. Grey was writing songs for her Eminem executive-produced album Don't Look Down in Detroit, and visited Eminem to exchange song ideas and hooks. She wrote the hook for Asshole during the trip, while in her hotel room. Legacy was written approximately 2 years ago during a session between singer-songwriter Paulina and songwriter David Brooke in New York. A few months later, Paulina visited Interscope executive Neil Jacobson, who, upon hearing the song, commanded her, "Don't play this for anyone. It's an Eminem record." The following week, Paulina and Brooke joined Emile in the studio where he produced the song and then sent it to Eminem. Eminem added his own verses to the song, but left Paulina's vocals untouched. In July 2012, Eminem's close friend and label mate 50 Cent stated that he was involved in the recording for Eminem's upcoming album and would probably appear on the lead or second single, but ended up not being featured on the album at all. Music and songs: the opening track Bad Guy is produced by S1, M-Phases and Street Runner, with a chorus sung by Sarah Jaff. The song has been described as a sequel to Eminem's Stand from the Marshall Mathers LP. Survival features a chorus sung by Liz Rodriguez and production by DJ Khalil. On the anthemic track, Eminem celebrates his return over breakneck, arena rock electric guitars and trashy drums. Berzerk is produced by Rubin and pays homage to old-school hip-hop. With samples from the Beastie Boys' The New Style, and Fight for Your Right, and Billy Squier's The Stroke, the track is a punchy, guitar and beats-driven song which channels Joan Jett and the Blackhearts' I Love Rock 'n' Roll, and licensed to Era Beastie Boys. Produced by DVLP, Rap God sees Eminem rapping over an EDM-inspired instrumental with varied flows. He pays tribute to many influential hip-hop acts, but also proclaims himself an all-time best, with the closing line stating, "Why be a king when you can be a god?" The Monster is a dark, demon-battling song, produced by Frequency. The track features backing vocals from Bebe Rexha and a chorus by Rihanna. Packaging: the artwork was revealed on September 20, 2013 on Eminem's Twitter account. The cover features a picture of the house Eminem lived in during his teenage years, although now the house is in a dilapidated state. It is very similar in design to the cover of the artwork from the Marshall Mathers LP, which also features a picture of the house, but with Eminem sitting on the porch, the windows uncovered and the door replaced by a screen door. On October 25, 2013, the artwork for the deluxe edition was revealed. The deluxe artwork is a variation of the standard artwork, in which the house is being looked at through a car window. In November 2013, the house went up in flames for unknown reasons, damaging the upper portion of the home. The deluxe edition comes with 2 discs, one being the standard album, and the other containing bonus tracks. The disc's artwork is designed after the Detroit City seal and flag, respectively. The album's artwork direction was handled by Mike Sapato, with photography by Kevin Mazur. In December 2013, the album cover was named the 10th best of 2013 by Complex. Releasing promotion: on October 29, 2012. The Eminem Baseball Tribute Champ hat was made available on the official Eminem online store, with a side panel dedicated to the landmark Eminem solo albums, and the final date being 2013, hinting at the release year for Eminem's 8th studio album. On August 25, 2013, 2 Beats by Dre commercials aired during the MTV Video Music Awards revealed that Eminem's 8th studio album would be titled The Marshall Mathers LP2 and would be released on November 5, 2013, with previews of the lead single Berzerk, and its music video, where Eminem was shown with his hair dyed blonde again. On September 5, 2013, it was announced that Berzerk would be used as the featured song for the 2013 season of ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC from September 14 to December 7, and that a sneak peek for the song's music video would premiere during halftime of No. 14 Notre Dame at No. 17 Michigan on September 7. Eminem was interviewed by Brent Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit during the halftime, and the clip, described as awkward and bizarre, became a viral online video. Activision announced on September 9, 2013, that players who pre-ordered Call of Duty: Ghosts would receive a bonus track in addition to Survival. The track listing was revealed on October 10, 2013. On October 17, 2013, pre-order bundles featuring a deluxe CD and various merchandise options were made available on Eminem's website. During August 2013, Eminem performed 4 concerts in Europe. The group of shows featured supporting acts Slaughterhouse, Kendrick Lamar, Earl Wolf, Wolf, and Chance the Rapper. In February 2014, Eminem toured Australia and New Zealand on the Rapture Tour. The 4 shows also featured Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, 360, David Dallas, and Action Bronson. Eminem reportedly hand-picked the artists to join him on tour. Singles. On August 25, 2013, he revealed that the first single Berzerk would be released on August 27, 2013 in the US. The song was premiered on Shade 45 the day before its retail release. The single debuted at number 2 on the Canadian Hot 100, number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and among the top 40 in many other countries. On September 9, 2013, the music video for Berzerk premiered on Vevo. The video featured cameo appearances from Kendrick Lamar, Kid Rock, Slaughterhouse, Mr. Porter, Wolf, Rick Rubin and Paul Rosenberg. On August 14, 2013, a song titled Survival featuring Liz Rodriguez, with production by DJ Khalil, was premiered in the multiplayer trailer for the video game Call of Duty: Ghosts. A following press release revealed the first single from his 8th studio album would be released soon. On October 8, 2013, Survival was released on iTunes for digital download as the album's second single along with its music video. Survival has since peaked at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100. On October 14, 2013, the audio to Rap God premiered on Eminem's YouTube channel. It was then released to iTunes the following day, as the album's third single. It debuted at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. On November 27, 2013, the music video was released for Rap God. On October 24, 2013, it was revealed that the Rihanna collaboration The Monster would be released as the album's 4th single. The Frequency-produced song premiered on October 28, 2013. The song was then released as the album's 4th official single the following day. The song became Eminem's 5th single to reach number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. On December 16, 2013, the music video was released for The Monster featuring Rihanna. Headlights, which features American singer Nate Ruess, was released as the album's 5th single in Australia on February 5, 2014. Headlights has since peaked at number 45 on the Billboard Hot 100. Critical reception. The Marshall Mathers LP2 has received generally positive reviews from music critics. At Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream critics, the album received an average score of 72, based on 33 reviews, indicating generally favorable reviews. Paul Mackins of The Guardian gave the album a perfect 5-star rating, saying, "His flows are exceptional, the wordplay is dazzling. The jokes, in places offensive, are relentless. There is no faluga, no concession. Just a virtuoso application of talent." John Dolan of the Rolling Stones said, "Nostalgia is everywhere. He's playing his best character, the demon spawn of trailer hell, America, hitting middle age with his middle finger up his nose while he cleans off the Kool-Aid his kids spilled on the couch." Daryl Sturden of the Toronto Sun gave the album a perfect 4-star rating, saying, "One of his most enjoyable albums in years. Hilariously shocking and wicked, skewering everyone in his path. And it's the Eminem you know and love." Christopher Wienarten of Spin stated, "If rapping were purely an athletic competition, Eminem would be Michael Phelps and Lou Retton combined, pure ability and flexibility, like a bullet with only white-hot hate in his wake." He would go on to add that "we get rhymes, more rhymes than some rappers manage in a whole career." Michael Wood of the Los Angeles Times said, "Eminem sounds more alive, angrier yet fully present, than he is in years. Eminem burns with purpose on MMLP2. and if you don't like what he has to say, there's a chance he doesn't either. Edna Gunderson of USA Today said, Eminem recaptures the original release's wild, clever, emotional brilliance in a flurry of caustic, brazenly honest, rapid-fire rhymes and aggressive beats. Sarah Rodman of the Boston Globe gave the album a positive review saying, if anything, the sequel is more intense than the original, as the Detroit rapper explodes like an M80, many memorable ones to be heard here, as Eminem doubles down on his manic flow, bursting with analogies, jokes, illusions, and ingenious wordplay with dizzying speed and skill. Dan Riz of XXL gave the album a rating of XL saying, the thing that carries M through is the diversity of his flows, and his ability to rap over anything. You're getting one with more perspective, a version which has seen 13 more years and has a different outlook on some of the same topics that he first visited in 2000. Evan Ratulewski of the AV Club gave the album a B rating, saying after years of stagnancy and tedious anger, he shows real growth on the Marshall Mathers LP. Eminem has always rapped with forceful determination out of compulsive drives to prove himself to doubters, cut down his enemies, and retain his commercial foothold. For the first time in far too long, he sounds like he's rapping because he enjoys it too. John Kamanika of the New York Times gave the album a positive review saying, his lyrics are best viewed under a microscope, to see how he gets from one rhyme to the next in unexpected ways. He'll dominate almost any sound, but he still has some old habits, still heavy-handed with homophobic slurs. Eminem is still rapping from deep inside his cave, as if he's had no new experiences to draw from. David Jeffries of AllMusic spoke of the album saying, it is a vicious, infectious, hilarious triumph, a supervillain so familiar with hate and depression. He's powered by all shades of anger. Most of the best moments on MMLP2 are just as angry and just as irresponsible. Eminem at his very best. Luke Fox of Acclaim gave the album an 8 out of 10 rating, praising the album's astounding wordplay and creative beat choices. In a mixed review, Greg Kot of the Chicago Tribune gave the album 2 out of 4 stars saying, it reaffirms his prodigious agility with rhymes. Eminem still crunches together syllables, silliness, and storytelling flights of ridiculousness with acrobatic skill, and the sense that we've all been here before, twice, is exacerbated by tired samples and interpolations. Eminem tries to cover up his retreat by doing cartwheels and backflips with his rhymes. Craig Jenkins of Pitchfork Media gave the album a mixed review saying, Eminem is a titan with wordplay, but MMLP2 once again finds him at a loss for how to apply his talents. Nick Catucci of Entertainment Weekly gave the album a C+, criticizing Eminem's use of slurs on the album, saying Eminem wouldn't be Eminem if he didn't allot some of his white-spang homophobic slurs and misogynistic fantasies, rightly considered a rap great for his technical prowess, wicked humor, and tenacity, which make his flashes of hatred for women and gay men all the more alarming. Accolades. Closing out the year, the Marshall Mathers LP2 was ranked in multiple Albums of the Year lists. XXL named it the second best album of the year. They commented saying, 3 years after his widely praised album Recovery, M tapped into his former self. The Marshall Mathers LP2. Slim Shady, along with the characters and stories from the first installment, are peppered throughout his latest effort. The rap god also displays his lyrical prowess on songs like Oe Love Gimme Euro with Kendrick Lamar, the tribute to his mother in Oe Headlights, and the old-school rap rock ode Berzerk. M also supplies the world with another Rihanna collaboration that ups the expectations for fans every time their name is paired together. Overall, Eminem proves once again that his second wind is just as good as his glory days. Complex ranked the album number 6, on their list of the 50 best albums of 2013, praising it as Eminem's best album since The Eminem Show. Music critic Robert Christgau named it the 7th best album of 2013 in his year-end list for the Barnes & Noble Review. Digital Spy placed it at number 14 on their list of the best albums of 2013. It was placed at number 24 on Rolling Stone's list of the 50 best albums of 2013. Spin also ranked it at number 28 on their list of the 50 best albums of 2013, saying his 8th solo album, the Marshall Mathers LP2, is an unwieldy beast. an imperfect yet mostly thrilling verbal gymnastics routine that sticks the landing in the zone of bad taste with arms proudly raised. It was also listed at number 48 on the Pop Matters list of the best albums of 2013. It was positioned at number 64 on Music OMH's list of the top 100 of the year. Commercial performance: in the United States, the album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling more than 792,000 copies in its first week, becoming the second biggest debut of 2013 and the second largest sales week of the year, only behind the debut of Justin Timberlake's The 20/20 Experience, which bowed at number 1 with 968,000 in March. The Marshall Mathers LP2 logs the sixth biggest sales week of the past 5 years. The album also marks Eminem's seventh number 1 album. In its second week the album dropped to number 2, selling 210,000 more copies. In its third week the album returned to number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling 120,000 more copies. In its fourth week the album dropped to number 2 on the Billboard 200, selling 199,000 more copies. The album sold 1,727,000 copies in the United States in 2013, making it the second best-selling album of the year. As of July 13, 2014, the album has sold 2,155,247 copies in United States according to Nielsen SoundScan. In the United Kingdom, the album debuted at number 1 on the UK Albums Chart, selling over 143,000 copies, becoming Eminem a Euro unregistered trademark's seventh consecutive number 1 album in the UK. By achieving such a feat, Eminem became the first American act to score 7 consecutive UK number 1 albums and is now on par with the Beatles in second place for the most chart-topping UK albums in a row. As of February 2014, the album has sold over 477,000 copies in the UK. The album was the best-selling album of 2013 in Canada, with over 242,000 units sold. In Australia, the album debuted atop the ARIA Albums Chart, with only 3 days of chart sales, becoming his seventh number 1 album in the country. It remained at number 1 on the ARIA Albums Chart in its second week. The Marshall Mathers LP2 finished 2013 with more than 3.8 million copies sold worldwide. Track listing, notes, track listing and credits from album booklet. A signifies a co-producer, B signifies an additional producer. Bad Guy features vocals by Sarah Jaff. Survival features vocals by Liz Rodriguez. Legacy features vocals by Paulina. Love Game features vocals by Cara Marie. The Monster features background vocals by Beeb. Sample credits: Bad Guy contains samples of Hocus Pocus, as performed by Walter Murphy. Sona, written by Gianpiero Reverberi and Laura Giordano. And Ode to Billy Joe, as performed by Lou Donaldson. Rhyme or Reason contains samples of Time of the Season, written by Rod Argent and performed by the Zombies. Berzerk contains samples of The Stroke, written and performed by Billy Squier. Fight for Your Right, written by Adam Horovitz, Adam Yorch, and Rick Rubin, as performed by the Beastie Boys. And Feel Me Flow, written by Joseph Modelist, Art Neville, Cyril Neville, Vincent Brown, Anthony Criss and Kier Gist, as performed by Naughty by Nature. Rap God contains interpolations of The Show, written by Douglas Davis and Richard Walters, and Supersonic, written by Dania Burks, Joanna Burns, Jonata Lee, Fatima Shahid and Kim Nasal. So Far contains samples of Life's Been Good, written and performed by Joe Walsh. And PSK. What Does It Mean? As performed by Schoolie D. Love Game contains samples of Game of Love, written by Clint Ballard, Jr., as performed by Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders. And interpolations of The Object of My Affection, written by Jimmy Grier, Coy Poe and Pinky Tomlin. Personnel, credits for the Marshall Mathers LP2 adapted from AllMusic. Charts, certifications, release history, references.